Hey guys, welcome to my 14th Python course. In this course, we're going to be working with functions in Python. A function is a block of organized, reusable code that is used to perform a single related action. Functions also provide better modularity for your application and a high degree of code reusing. To define a function, we have the def keyword, which is used to define a function. Then we have the function name next to it, which is an identifier by which the function is called. Then we have the argument, which contains a list of value passed to the function. Then we have the function body, which are the statements inside the function. It is executed each time the function is called. Then we have the return value, which ends function call and send data back to the program. With that being said, so let's get started. So let's begin to create our own function. Def func name, then two parentheses, colon, and when you click on enter, this is going to be indented with 4 spaces. Then let's say print hello world. So in this case, we have to call this function to be able to use this function. So to call this function, we're just going to type func name like this using these two parentheses. Now we are using the name of the function to call the function itself. So let's run this code. We have the output as hello world. So this is how function work. Now what if I type something like print like this and print func name? Now here we see hello world and none, which simply means that we are not returning anything. We are only printing something inside the function. So by default, Python is doing this. So you see this is hello world and none. If I should change this to 0 and run this, I'm gonna get hello world and 0. But if I should call the function without using this print function, just call the function, we're only gonna get this. So let's run this. Now the output is hello world. Now let me clear this return value. We're going to be working with this later. So let's create another function. This is just a basic function, which is func name print hello world. So def greet like this using these two parentheses, and here we can print hello always appear like this, then call the greet function with two parentheses like this. So I'm calling this function, this greet function here. So I should underscore hello always appear. So what do you want the user to use this function to get name? So there is something called parameter and argument. So if I should write name here, now I'm giving this function a parameter, then I can pass the name inside of this greet function, which is an argument. So if I should input Bob Alice in this case, and here I can use this name parameter. So I can say print hello plus name in this case. So if I should run this code, I'm gonna get hello Bob Alice. If I should come back here and rewrite this greet, then input always appear, and run this code, my output is hello always appear. So this is just how function work. So let's move on with function. Instead of using this print, we can just use a return keyword, but not now. We're going to be working with that inside this file. So let's create another function, def multiply. Let's say this is gonna take x and y like this. Now I'm giving these two parameters, which is x and y, separated with a comma, then 4 spaces, which is called indentation in Python. Then I can say print x times y like this. So in this case, I can call my multiplication function by saying that multiply 5 by 6. Now our output will be 30. Now the output is 30, which is working perfectly. And the thing is, we can also specify the type of value that we want the user to input. So you see that this name is a string, but these ones are integer. So we can just add this here, colon, then specify the type of value you want to get from the user, integer like this. Now we are specifying integer, and here we can specify string. So if I should run this code, we are still going to get the same output. So what if I specify string here and specify string here and run this Python code? Let's see what the output is going to be. We have 30. It is still working. Why? Because this is just telling the user that this is going to take a string. It does nothing. It's just telling the user, okay, this is how our code is. This is how it is working. So this one is taking a string. This one is taking an integer. So that is just what it does. I think it is called annotation. So let me change this back to integer and integer. So our user can know that, okay, this function takes 2 parameters, which is an integers. Accurate. Now let's create another function, def add, let's say a and b and c like this, then print a plus b plus c in this case. So I can call my add function. So if I should run this code, I'm gonna get the addition of this number. Now let's say that we want to take a float in this case, because the user can decide to input something like, so we are telling the user that this is going to take a float. The user can decide to input something like 2.3, 2.5, and just leave the 3 like that. So if I should run this code, my output is going to be 9.8. Now that is how function work. So this is just a basic function. Let's move to the return keyword. Here we're going to be returning value. We are not going to be printing it like this. So this is the return keyword file. Now let's create a function, def, let's call this greet once again. So inside this case, let's input something like, or let me just make this info, name and age. So in this case, we can specify that this is a string. Now this is why it is useful, and we can say that this is age, this is an integer like this. Now we can return. So if I should type return, I can say that return using a formatted string like this. Let's say my name is name, which is this name here, this parameter. My name is name, and I am age years old like this. So to call this function, we are not just going to be calling the function like this info. If I should try and run something like this info and give it a name Mary, age 19. So if I should run this code, I'm not gonna get anything because I'm not printing anything inside of this function unless I type something like print 0, print hello, something like this. But we are not going to be getting this return keyword. So return expression, sorry. So this is hello, which is this only print. So let me remove this. Now to run this, we want to call our function. So this is going to be a print value. We're going to be using a print function, yeah? Print info Mary 19, like this. Now we got this. My name is Mary and I am 19 years old. Accurate. So let's create another function for this. Def. Let's make this division. And this can be x and y. Then we can say return x divided by y, like this. So we are returning x divided by y. I can just print division of 5 and 6, like this. 5 divided by 6 is 1. Now let's Python do that. We have 0.833334. We have this 4 at the back because Python is working with binary. So probably change this to binary, then divide it, then convert it back to base 10. Because computer uses binary, so that is why we have this 4 at the back. So it is called precision. Now we've done this division. What if we input 0? We're gonna get can't divide by 0, which is 0 division error, division by 0. So which simply means that we can also specify a condition at first. So let's say if y is equal to 0, because this is our expression, so y must not be equal to 0. If y is equal to 0, just return cannot divide by 0. Else, then we can return this. So let's run this. We have the output as cannot divide by 0. So if this is not 0, if this is 10, 5 divided by 10, we have this as 0.5. So in this case, you can decide not to use this else condition because the return keyword only return one expression for the user. Return x divided by y. We're gonna get the same thing. So meaning is that if this return keyword returns something to the screen, it is always the last thing. That is exactly. So this return won't work anymore. So let's run this. We have 0.5. Now, since this doesn't satisfy the condition, it's just skipped it, boom. Then come back here, then return this. So if the condition is satisfied here, this is going to return this, and the return value only return one expression. In this case, then this is not going to work anymore. So let me change this to 0 and run this. Cannot divide by 0. Accurate. So this is for division. Let's create another function. So we're going to be writing a program that removes duplicate value from an array. So let's say def remove duplicate, which is just this, and this is going to take an array of duplicates. So let's specify this as a list data type. So in this case, we can just loop through the array for, let's say, element in array. Then let's create an empty list. So let's say removed, or let's call this new array is equal to an empty list like this. Then we loop through the element, we check if element not in new array, then new array dot append element like this. Then this place we can return new array. Now let me call this remove duplicate. Then this is going to take argument since we've passed in this array parameter. Then this is going to take an argument. So inside this place I can pass in array of duplicate values. Let's just say 5, 4, and 3 like this. But I am returning new array, which simply means that I'm going to be using a print function. So let me wrap this with print function. Print like this. So let's run this code. Now we have this new array, which is 2, 3, 4, 5. So everything has been filtered out. So let me explain how this algorithm works. We have for element in new in array, which is this array. If element not in new array, if the element, one of the elements, that is we are looping already, so if this element is not in this new array, then this is going to append it. So when it reaches these two, now this condition is going to work. When it reaches these two, that is we already have 2 in new array, then this is not going to work. Boom. So this is just going to skip it and continue the loop. Then this is going to go to 5. It check inside the new array, 5 is not there, then this is going to append 5. Then 4 again. Okay, 4 is already there, skip. 3 is already there, skip. So this is how the algorithm work. Print, remove duplicate of 2, 3, 4, 2, 5, 4, 3. And the thing is, we can reuse this. This is the usefulness of a function. Remove duplicate, we can use another array. So let's say like this and 7. Now here we have 3 7s. This is going to filter everything out. So let's run this. We have 6 7 8 3, which is working perfectly. And the next thing that we need to do is to create a new function, as I have already said. So let's create a function to check if a number is prime or not. Def is prime. This is going to take an integer number, of course. So let's say num should be an integer like this. Then we can loop through for I in range of num. Let's start with 1, num plus 1. Then if I mod num is equal to 0, then let's say count is equal to 0 like this. Then we're going to increment count. Count plus equal to 1 in this case. Then return count. So let me call my isPrime function isPrime like this. So let me input 5 and let's check if 5 is a prime. But this code is not complete. We only check if the I is equal to if the mod of num. So this should be if num mod I is equal to 0. Then we come back here, we check if count is equal to 2. As you already know what a prime function is, it has only two factors, which is 1 and itself. So if count is equal to 2, then we can return true, else return false. So if I should run this code, now my output is true because 5 is a prime number. So 2 is also a prime number, that is an even prime. 2 is a prime number. What if we try 1? Is 1 a prime number? False. 1 is not a prime number. And let's try another number. Let's try like 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 1. Let's try this. Okay, this is actually running the code. Def isPrime. So let me say isPrime of 57. Is 57 a prime number? Of course, 57 is not a prime number. So let me comment this. This is taking time to load, and let me run my code. I have the output as false because 57 is not a prime number. I think that is 19 times 3, I guess. So that is just what this return keyword does. Now let's move to this keyword args. This keyword arg, let me just copy one of the function that I created here. Ctrl C and paste it here. Now I want to work with a keyword argument. So in this case, we have these parameters, name and age, then they are followed by their syntax outside of the function. So in this case, we can also specify like this. We can see that we want our age to be at the first one. So by writing it, age is equal to 19 and name is equal to Mary. So this is a keyword argument. So we are passing it using its parameter. Now, if I should run this code, I'm going to get the same output. My name is Mary and I'm 19 years old. So let's try for another one. Like this division. Paste it here. Now here, if I want my x to be 5, I can want my y to be 10 like this. Now here we're going to get the same output as 0.5, right? We can also exchange them like this. Y is equal to 5 and x is equal to 10. So if I should run this code, I'm just going to get 2.0 because x came first inside this expression. So we are saying that 10 divided by 5, which is probably equal to 2. So we are just exchanging them outside of the function. So that is what a keyword argument is. Now let's move to positional argument. These are few courses. Positional argument. So this positional argument, let me copy this Mary again. Don't worry, I can access this through my clipboard. So this is it. So we have def info name string and also age string. So in this case, we can specify a positional argument by saying that age is equal to 10 by default. So in this case, if I should input only Mary as my argument, we have two parameters here. We have name and age, but this is what a positional argument does. We've already assigned it inside the function. So if the user doesn't input anything here, if the user only inputs name, then this code is going to use this age 10. Now, if I should run this, I'm going to get my name is Mary and I'm 10 years old. We can also do the same for this name by saying that Bob. So if I should only call this function without inputting anything inside of this parentheses, then I'm going to get my name is Bob and I'm 10 years old. My name is Bob and I'm 10 years old. So you can also override this positional argument by input your specified argument. So let's say Alice is 15. Now let's run this. We have my name is Alice and I'm 15 years old. You see that it's not using this positional argument anymore. It's using this keyword argument that is outside. So this is just all for these functions in Python. There is going to be some exercise for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to receive new notifications.